I've got your backs.
Look at that thing. The Ridiro Queen. If we take out this one, do we lose all the Ridiro? Or is this just a name we're giving to a hilariously overgrown version of this thing that used to be book gatherers? Summoning what I can. I would like to say that I'm being clever and using tactics, but really... Whoa! Incoming attack. But really, a lot of the time, I'm basically just triggering cooldowns that are available.
Watch out, Cicero!
Oh, they're not getting out of the way of that. Not really. But I mostly trigger the cooldowns of people who are now available. Look at this thing. That's a Final Fantasy looking boss. During a lot of combat, yeah, I trigger whatever abilities are available, because that's pretty limited. And I mostly try to run out of AoE attacks and revive people that are down, but that's about all the thought process going on a lot of the time.
To the left.
Oh, they're kind of coming after me over here, aren't they? They say to the left? To the left, to the left?
Cicero!
Oh, because it's on the post over here. Okay. Oh, they're stunned. Well, that's not good news for me either. Here we go. Putting down what I can, especially the damage reduction and healing skills. That'll help us persist a bit longer. There we go. So we're essentially destroying... I just tried to drag a selection box over everyone to move them. I've been playing a lot of Tyranny lately. In fact, I've been playing more Tyranny than this lately. Actually, I should take out these ads. Otherwise, they're just gonna keep attacking us. Keeping it going. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if this game has a complexity of mechanics really to warrant much more thought, honestly. I know it technically has higher difficulties, but there's just not a lot going on generally with the combat. I don't think it was really their priority, considering how little of our overall playthrough is spent doing combat versus just beating on boss, versus watching cutscenes and reading codex entries and the like. The story definitely comes to the combat definitely comes across as a almost a storytelling mechanic in itself, an expression of struggle as instead of a mechanically rich concept, almost like quick time events in a David Cage game, actually, like Heavy Rain and stuff like that. Like it's like it has combat because combat fits more so than necessarily because they had great ideas on how to create a complicated and interesting combat system. Because I don't think they really did. Let me go. Let me go. Wow, I've been stunned for like 5 years. Is Cicero forever? Is he ever gonna stop being stunned? What?
I can't stand for much longer.
Cicero? Cicero, did you break?
To the left.
I'm growing concerned that you may have broken, Cicero.
Look out!
Oh, we're stunned again. Maybe he'll wake up from this one? No, he didn't. What the hell? Cicero's just flat out not... He's broken. The heck? Maybe if I change stances? Yeah, I can't move Cicero. What? This game is getting unfortunately glitchy in these later hours, isn't it? So I went like half the game without ever having major problems happen. Oh god, it's healing that much? Well, I guess we broke its post, so it can't keep moving around now. But apparently it's been healing. Whoops. Maybe it heals whenever it's on a post. So I've been stuck twice where I couldn't continue. And now Cicero's permanently stunned during a fight, which puts me in a tough spot, because now I'm worried that this guy's going to go down. If Cullen goes down, I only have one party member, which would be a problem. Thankfully, a decent number of his abilities restore focus, which might help. I hope. Also, being neighbors with an enemy, with one of my allies, means that I can keep buffing her with stuff that'll hopefully keep us both alive. Thankfully his focus is fully regenerated. I really feel like I'm supposed to have a full party while doing this, though, and not just 2 characters. There we go. I'm basically using every ability that'll help keep my focus up, which is plentiful on this character. Sure wish the game didn't break itself, though. That'd be obviously ideal. We got this, though, I think. Unless it has some sort of scary face change at the last minute that suddenly gets way harder. Right now, it's just some random tornadoes and lightning bursts that could hurt, but aren't game changers so far. You're a tanky one. Or I guess maybe it just feels that way because we're missing characters. What a weird problem. Hopefully I can move after the fight. Hopefully it'll trigger a cutscene.
Oh, my darling. Thank you.
Are you all right?
I will be.
I've got her, Cicero. You should... By the light. You should look around.
It's beautiful.
Attend to why we came. I'll be here.
Ruins, the Misted Isles. The Altus Nobilis is a secretive guild, which goes to extreme measures to keep their intellectual treasures away from the eyes of the rest of the city. When the concept of dividing the city into wards emerged, the Altus were the first to claim ownership of a set of ruins they'd come to call the Misted Isles. Found under the gentle falls of the Cascada, the Misted Isles sit at the heart of the Assemblia, the Altus's largest collection of knowledge. What secrets, if any, they've gleaned from these ruins have not been made public knowledge. Many Ombrians secretly suspect, however, that the Altus have found little of value in the Isles, for if they had, they certainly would have used it to bolster their political position in the city. So then what? They have the Isles because they're beautiful and they want to have them to themselves? That's possible. It seems like a crazy place. Let's have a look around and specifically avoid our objective for a bit. Hello! New engraving. The Cascada. Sierra Verde is not a small mountain. It reaches high into the sky and brushes the lower hanging clouds. Though there have been a few daring individuals who have attempted to scale it, none of their expeditions have brought them to its tip. The Vedulists suspect, however, that sitting at the apex of the mountain is a spring of a sort. Perhaps the same spring that gives the cholera life, which generates large pools of water that overflow and fall off the cap of the mountain in tumbling waterfalls. Most of these waterfalls don't make it to the city. The battering winds disperse the water before it hits the ground, but the largest of them all has been gracing the citizens in Umber with a bounty for time immemorial, this waterfall known as the Cascada. There it is in the background over there, the super waterfall. There's a sight, huh? Oh, that's a screen boundary right here, so we can't go much further. Look at these giant gears from the creature we took down. What a bizarre design. Oh, and a mask. Who gets the new Mascherine? Looking for Grays. There we go. It's a Tiziana mask, so one for Tiziana and one for Vasco when we get back. Got a few points to spend. Cicero now has enough to get his last tier. So, gain more mask ultimate when mask charge is spent, or gain all types of regeneration at the same time, which is pretty neat, actually. Whenever a non-elemental attack is activated, the duration of a tag effect becomes doubled. Whenever Earth tag is activated, Cicero gains 100% attack speed bonus for 3 seconds. Twisters merge into a gigantic vortex which lasts for 10 seconds. Whoa. Or twisters become mobile and move towards the nearest enemy. That's also neat. So you can have them chase people or become a super twister. Having them chase people sounds pretty neat, actually, instead of just sitting around the way they do. Muddrake's attack also deal 3 damage to other enemies within 3 meters. Increased Muddrake duration by 5 seconds. Increased duration would be good because it doesn't increase its cost, which means it'd be more efficient. Mask's charge costs 20. They last 10 seconds with a cooldown of 8 seconds. Alright, yeah. If they last 10 seconds, you make them 15 seconds, then you can keep those up pretty consistently all the time. The Quake follows the caster and increases damage by 3 over time, or increases duration by 3 seconds. I'm gonna go for the... Should I go for the chasing twisters? I do like the deck. I like how much damage they do too. Well, it's 30 damage of a Quake, and then 3 twisters do 5. They appear for 5 seconds and deal 4 damage per second. So it's only 20 damage, but they would chase people at least. Did I ever increase their damage? I spawned one more twister, but I didn't make them more powerful yet. Meanwhile, these guys do 5 damage. Let's go for the increased Muddrake duration. Calden has 2 points to spend. Blast range of 10 meters. Calden nearby allies heal for 20% of their maximum health. Yes. That would come in handy for sure. She has 3 points, so I can go down the tier here. Let's see. Oh, after casting Judgment, she can cast it then again for free within 3 seconds. That'd be nice. Or launch the flaming bolts all around her instead, increasing the casting arc by 450% and the maximum number of bolts by 28. Just a massive explosion. That does sound pretty amazing. I kind of want to see a ridiculous blast, but the rapid focus fire could be super useful too. Let's make a mess. Let's have fun. Amadea also has 3 points. This is the Convergence skill. Or I can go into Innervate. Oh, when it Innervate's casted on allies, she also gets the effects, so that'd be 2/3 of the party would have the effect. Or reduce skill to cooldown. No, let's do the shared effect. That's pretty fantastic. Vasco Testatore. Increase maximum focus by 30. That's reasonable. We're gonna want that sooner or later, so let's just get it. Alright. Everyone's leveled up. Well, she's alive. That's something. This place is huge.
This is the one?
Yes.
It's barely hanging together.
Egon will Sion Aichen Sion Breog Sion.
What's it saying?
It seems flustered. I'm not sure if... Hey! Damn it!
Did it just abandon us?
Well, we're going to have to...
Don't do this!
Tiziana?
Judge Master, please.
Move aside, Marshal.
What is going on?
Our inquisitive hound.
Tiziana?
I'm sorry.
You told him about the Assemblia. About why we were here.
Yes, she did. To find out where these artifacts that I've been hearing so much about are. So, Inspettori, care to share?
These artifacts are involved in things you don't understand. I need them.
What you need, Inspettori, is to tell me where they are.
Why are you doing this?
Too long the city has been ruled by incompetence. It needs a leader that can fight, that has the strength to do what is necessary for the good of the city, not a weakling who poisons it with his age and frailty.
And you're mad enough to believe that's you?
Imagine how much safer, how much more orderly the city would be if it adopted the bright chorus's compass.
The Lucca don't even sing them anymore.
You can't have them.
What? You have spent too long in his company. He's darkened your eyes.
He has shown me the truth.
You are a marshal of the Lucca Infinita. Your father would...
My father would have spat upon this guild.
Blasphemous!
Look at us, Fabio. We wear suits of gold, but where do our hearts lie? We're not supposed to fight to banish the weak. We are supposed to fight for them.
The weak will take us down with them!
We are supposed to lift them up. Be the eyes of the blind, the tongues of the mute, the ears of the deaf, the swords of the poor. What happened to that?
Enough! I will deal with you later. But you will...
I challenge you.
What?
You believe you can rule this city under your martial thumb?
What are you saying?
Prove it. By your honor and pride, accept my challenge to a duel.
You think you can beat me?
If I do, you will respect the registry, and you will leave us alone. All of us, the marshal included.
And if I win, you will tell me everything there is to know about the artifacts.
Cicero.
Fair. When you're ready.
May the best man win.
Ready yourselves.
I am somewhat concerned about the idea of fighting as Cicero alone. Huh? Maybe he'll do it a bunch of really obvious attacks like that. Watch out for that attack. I mean, I have a lot of stuff I can plant on the ground, so maybe I can avoid his attacks. He's at 94%. That's not a good sign. Not the best sign, anyway. I can just periodically summon these guys, though. That's fun. Yep. That'll make a mess. You can't beat me. I'm in tank mode. Ha ha ha. He's not really taking damage right now. That's concerning. That's concerning. Moving. Ha 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 ha. Uh-oh. Not trying to stand on that right now. Let's make a mess. I'm trying. Oh, watch out. Danger. Okay, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. Thankfully, I have an ultimate that heals me, but I have to be careful about that. It's my one chance of getting through this, possibly. He's durable. I wonder if this is a game over situation, or if losing actually affects the story. You never know for sure with some games, whether losing will affect the story, or if the game will just make you try again until you win. Uh-oh. There it goes again. I'm pretty much one at this point. He's at 37%. Chances are pretty good. Go, Mudrake. Watch out. Oh, danger. I'm on the verge of taking some damage, but I do have my ultimate ready. Let's do that now. There we go. That'll pick me back up while things sort of pick away at him over time. Get out of that. Here comes the AoE. There we go.
Enough! You have won.
And our deal?
I will honor my word. You fight well.
As do you.
We leave.
Not on the list of expectations of how that sort of thing would get finished off, huh? Zamora's Crown, Fabio Fidelta II. The Lucca are supposed to be the embodiment of honor in the city, men and women who hold true to their word no matter what. Though they have strayed much from their roots, I can say they still remain at least that. Fabio might have been a threat to the investigation, but there is nothing more important to a Luca than their honor. Certainly, I might have used that against him, however unwise Tiziana might insist it was, and I am not particularly proud of it, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Yay, we did it! Get out of here, Luca! Yeah, I mean, it was a screwed situation, so I'm not going to feel bad. I'm slightly suspicious that anything might have popped up on the screen after all these events. I'm just sort of rescanning real quick. I'm kind of happy with how thorough I think I've been so far.
Cicero, that was
I know.
stupid!
What?
You could have been killed!
Well, whatever it is, I have bad news.
About what your Fae wanted to show us.
About the Fae itself. It's run off.
Ah, by the light, Inspectore! I told you!
I know. We can deal with that later. First, we should get your mother back.
When the Fae ran off, I had the sudden realization of maybe I should have brought Vasco.
Now that that's done, we need to find... Did I miss something?
Not once had I ever thought I'd stand up to the Judge Master like that. I never knew it could feel so good.
We'll see what you're saying once he comes around. Might not be a marshal for very much longer. I didn't think you'd take it that lightly.
I never thought I could either. But the things I'd once held so dear now seem like the trinkets of a fool. A broken compass for a blind heart.
Hold off on the poetry, Marshal. Next thing I know, you'll be turning yourself into a songstress.
Come on, let's see what the others are up to.
There you are.
Ven? What's the matter?
It's that creature thing you summoned. Came rushing back into the house not an hour ago.
Is anyone hurt?
No one but the walls. You should have a look.
The walls. Concerning. Tiziana. I do not fancy myself a teacher, or a preacher, or even an instructor of any sort. I have never known a passion for influencing others, or a wish to be the one responsible for the bestowal of knowledge, but now I can see why there are those who do. Perhaps that is what Raztov meant when he came to see me after my accredita. He wished to see how I'd performed, wished to see how much I'd done to keep, how much he'd done to help me, for there is a certain vicarious pride one derives from watching a student or a trainee succeed, and though I would never call Tiziana either of those, watching her stand up against Fabio has affected me more than I would have thought possible. I'm glad, to say the least, that she found her way to us. I may not have been the smoothest, it may not have been the smoothest journey, but it was an important one. For her as much as for me. It has shown me, once again, how we all matter in this world. How we all have the ability to shape it should we... all have the ability to shape it should we so choose. It has restored an old belief of mine in the power of the individual. I'd lost the optimism somewhere in the trenches the last few years, and it feels good to have it back. And thus, every single co-op character has one remaining entry. So I think that's it. I think everyone's arcs are done now. Because that last one is almost certainly like the epilogue finale, like what happened in the end to that character. We've actually made a lot of progress on this screen in general. You probably might think I'm looking too much into this sometimes, but yeah, I like looking at these numbers because they give me some vague idea of the progression of the game, because it's the only metric by which to look at it. And I wouldn't think about it too much if it wasn't thrown right in my face like this, but it's totally here. There's 3 here, 4 here, 1 here. Like 20 locations though. Either we're gonna visit a lot of locations or I've missed a lot of entries. 3, we're maxed out there. 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. They're about as close as they get. So we got 2 new Mascherines, which should now be complete, I believe. There's 1. So right now she casts an aura of protection that lasts for 10 seconds. If she takes the fatal damage, right, she has rebirth, right. There's Flame Herald, invokes the power of fire, increasing the caster's damage by 50% for 10 seconds. That's pretty big. Or Meteor Storm. Enemy struck by the meteor takes 60 damage. Let's do the Meteor Storm. I haven't really been using Phoenix. In fact, a couple times I tried to use Phoenix, it didn't seem to work correctly, which is weird. So let's go ahead and switch to Meteor Storm next. Next, Amadea? No, Vasco. Right? Is this one down here? So he uses the one that calls down lightning for 20 base damage and a stun. His other one is increased movement speed and reduced threat. This one is summons 3 Ridiro Fae for 10 seconds that taunts nearby enemies within their range of attack. That's neat. I love summons. They're so distracting and make my party safer. I like that idea quite a bit. Cool. Oh right, we also had a new everything. 2% hit point focus, 3% focus. There's the new one. Reduce incoming damage for 3 seconds. That's not bad. Other new one is a 30 damage, 15 proc, 10 damage, 35 proc. Interesting. Let's see. This one's health and focus right now. For my tanky characters, it may not be a bad idea to have reduced incoming damage for 3 seconds. Let's make this guy go full... We'll make this guy go full tank now. So now he has a 1 in 3 chance of proccing something that'll make him reduce damage incoming for 3 seconds. Which should make him very hard to hurt. Or so goes my plan here, at least. We'll see if that works out.
You're saying that she's right then?
Who's right?
Cicero, you need to hear this.
Oh, someone's been quite the artist.
Oli.
What?
His name.
Are you joking?
Vasco, enough, please. We have more important things to talk about.
What's the matter?
What Oli saw at the Misted Isles triggered something. Memory.
He patched it up?
And more. There was text that had been inscribed onto it. His memory is returning.
Well, what does it say then? Anything about the artifacts?
It essentially reads a warning, written by the ruler of the Empire during the months before it fell.
Is this the same emperor who won the Civil War?
The one that championed that the artifact should be hidden, yes.
If this is to be believed, then he admitted that the war had been a mistake. And one by one, unprotected by our celestial boon, our cities fell to the other gods. The chaos of the land bred, and the war of the divine raged on.
Other gods?
In the scroll that Lucia gave you, we learned about a chaos that consumed the lands, that we suspect led to the cataclysm.
Well, there have been no reports from the neighboring regions about rampaging divines, and Umber is a godless city, so...
To those in times not yet past, if among the bones of my people you find our legacies, if those legacies still give you strength, know that the schemer, Breog, still lives. And if one god can survive, know that he might not be alone. Do not follow my mistake. Reclaim the schemer's gifts.
Their legacy? The Mascherines?
The artifacts were a part of their god. It isn't a stretch to believe that the Mascherines draw their power from him as well.
And if he's still alive somewhere...
He might not be the only one.
And the threat of a cataclysm is real.
Ages. Lucia was right.
There's more, Cicero. The images.
The artifacts?
Yes, look.
A tree? The singing tree.
It might explain how it's been alive for so long.
We have to go. 2 of you, stay here. Look after the Fae and...
Oli.
Oli, when he wakes up, get him to tell you where the last artifact is. The rest of you get ready.
If what the Fae, Oli, has transcribed is real, then the Cataclysm was a war of the gods, and Lucia is right. The Mascherines are testament to the survival of an ancient being, a god, and might truly be a sign that the destruction that had stopped the Dimenticate might well be upon us. Or it might not. There exists insufficient evidence to either prove or disprove these theories that are floating about, and certainly we should consider both sides equally. What we cannot allow, however, is the impediment of our progress because of this fear of the unknown. We must press on and focus on the present. Contemplating the future isn't going to halt the destruction of our city. In the mural, one of the artifacts seemed to be located in a tree of sorts. The singing tree seems like a prime candidate for investigation, and it is there that we must head. Again, we visit that location quite a bit, don't we?
How is he doing?
He'll be all right. Takes after you quite a bit, actually.
Why do you say that?
There's a determination in the way he moves, an authority in the way he speaks.
Is that a compliment?
He's rather malodorous, too, in case I haven't mentioned. How's that for a compliment?
Almost too kind from you.
Go on, Cicero. I'll be ready in a bit.
What's this right here? Did I miss a codex thing? There it is. Fae. Oli. Oh, Oli gets his own entry. Seeing this Fae, birthed from my memories and given life by my experiences, brings about a strange sensation. It is at once a part of me, yet apart from me. It is independent in its action, but I cannot help but feel connected to it, and it's more than just because of the fact that I created it. As it exists and acts, I feel like I can read it, or at least sense its intentions. I have read nothing about this connection, and no one else has spoken of anything remotely similar. It leaves me wondering if there might be something more to this bond between us, something more that tethers us together, or if I am just imagining it. There are no questions for the present, however. These are not questions for the present, however. For now, there is more important work to be done. So he feels a connection to this thing, which is definitely reacting, and yeah, he definitely seemed to be responding to it somehow without Vasco or Amadea around to even try to translate it. Really, going on a mission with the Fae, I chose the worst possible characters to bring along for story reasons. Whoops.
You don't seem quite as fazed by the revelations.
What? Gods?
It's quite a discovery, that they might still live, whatever that means.
I might perhaps be more affected if it were more affecting.
They're gods we're talking about.
And I know nothing about them. How am I supposed to let an idea influence me if it's still cloaked in questions? Whatever it is, we should leave soon. I don't quite enjoy sitting around like this.
Calden?
You were right. You said yesterday that you were concerned about how much bigger this investigation might get.
Now you see what I mean?
Do you think it might be true? That gods might exist?
What do you mean?
If they do, then religions can't all be lies, can they?
You're thinking about your brother.
Maybe there is a promised land. Maybe the Elysians got it right with Isharimal. Maybe I'll get to see him again.
Perhaps, but until then...
Right. We have work to do.
Well, Calden has found some minor... well, not minor, but Calden has found a reason to find some hope in what is otherwise just the harbinger of doom and the sign of a great big bad final boss fight, potentially, as opposed to anything that would otherwise be encouraging.
Amadea,
I'm sorry?
you look a little pale.
I was just... Gods, Cicero.
Gods?
Alive. What does that even mean? That they walk among us? All the gods in the foreign religions are all just concepts, and now...
You can't be sure the term means the same to the Dimenticate as it does to us. For all you know, Breag could have simply been a talented mortal.
A talented mortal who gives part of himself to create artifacts that allow us to bend the elements of the physical realm itself? Perhaps your idea of talented mortal needs a little redefining.
Listen, Amadea, we don't know enough to make any judgments. What we do know, however, is that out there are powerful artifacts that we need to secure. That's all that matters right now. All right?
Of course, you're right. I shouldn't be straying.
Good. Now let's get ready.
The big worry comes from what happens if we don't secure them in time at all. Just making a quick look around to see if there's anything stashed around. Nope. There's the wife up there. Nope. Gotta be thorough, just in case. I think it's time for us to head out, though. Did I get more skill points? 2, though. I can't spend 2 on anything. Is everyone else similarly starved? Yeah, we got like 1 point recently, is why the icon was there telling me to check it out. I do believe it's time to get out of here.
You look like you're in a hurry, sir?
I am. The Hall of Songs, please. Right away.
Let's revert back a bit. Back to Vasco.
In the mural, it seemed like the artifact was in the singing tree itself. So, we confirm that how?
If there is anyone who can tell us the history of the singing tree, it's Mirabaz. Hopefully she can tell us more.
But do you think she even knows if...
Wait. Is that... No.